Rain hammered the alley like it was trying to erase something. Matthew froze mid-step when he recognized the woman huddled against the brick wall. The flickering streetlight caught her face for just a second, long enough to make his chest tighten and his breath forget how to move. It was Rachel, his ex-wife, thinner than memory allowed. Her hair clung to her cheeks, her hands wrapped around a paper cup like it was the last warm thing in the world. Matthew had been walking home from a late shift, boots soaked, mind numb from another day of fixing other people's problems while barely holding his own together. Cleveland nights had a way of feeling endless, especially when you were a single dad with a growing boy waiting at home and a past you tried not to touch. Seeing her, there felt like the city reached into his ribs and twisted. What if this were you? The person who once promised forever, now reduced to asking strangers for spare change. Would you turn away to protect yourself, or step closer and risk breaking all over again? Rachel looked up as if she sensed him. Her eyes held something between shame and relief. Matthew remembered those eyes. Hospital rooms, cramped apartments, nights when love felt like a shared battle against the world. He also remembered how addiction crept in quietly, how it turned promises into excuses, how it finally tore their family apart. He had walked away not because he stopped loving her, but because Noah was only 4 and needed at least one parent who could stay standing. The court papers, the empty apartment, the silence where laughter used to live. All of it rushed back in a single breath. Rachel's clothes hung loose, a red cardigan threadbare at the elbows. Her shoulders shook from cold or fear or both. The paper cup held a few coins, clinking softly whenever her hands trembled. Something cracked inside Matthew. A silent break that hurt more than the loudest fights they ever had. Life after the divorce had been survival. Matthew worked double shifts. Learned to braid Noah's hair for school plays. Learned to cook meals that came from boxes but still tasted like care. Some nights he collapsed on the couch after Noah fell asleep, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he had done the right thing. Seeing Rachel now made all those choices feel fragile. He moved closer without deciding to. Rachel tried to straighten, pride flickering weakly, but exhaustion won. Matthew noticed the bruises, the hollow cheeks, the way she avoided his eyes. He thought about Noah at home, trusting his father to come back, the same man he left an hour earlier. Walking away felt like leaving part of himself to drown. Matthew draped his coat over her shoulders. His hands shook as much as hers. Rachel clutched the coat. Her eyes filled with tears. For a moment, Matthew saw the woman he once loved. The one who sang hymns off-key. Who believed grace was real, even when life proved otherwise. He helped her to her feet. Every step toward home felt heavy with memory and fear. At the apartment, warm light spilled into the hallway. Noah's laughter drifted faintly from his room. Matthew paused at the door. He prayed for wisdom. Rachel sat at the kitchen table, wrapped in a blanket. Steam rose from the mug Matthew placed in front of her. She looked around at the drawings on the fridge. The schoolbooks. The life that had continued without her. Matthew asked no questions. Some answers were too fragile to touch. Weeks passed. Rachel entered recovery. She slept on the couch, attended meetings, fought demons that didn't surrender easily. There were setbacks, sleepless nights, fear-heavy mornings. Noah learned the truth gently and surprised Matthew with compassion that burned his eyes. Children, Matthew realized, understand grace better than adults. Old wounds reopened. Trust tried to regrow. But there were moments. Rachel cooking dinner. Noah showing her a school project. Matthew smiling at a sound he thought was gone forever. They weren't healed, but they were trying. Months later, Matthew stood alone on the balcony. City lights blinked below. He thought about how close he came to walking past that alley, choosing safety over mercy. The thought hollowed him out. Forgiveness didn't erase consequences. Love still required boundaries. But something steady lived in his chest. A belief that broken things weren't always beyond repair. If you were standing in the rain, with your past begging at your feet, what would you do? Matthew understood now. Sometimes the bravest thing isn't walking away. It's turning back, with eyes open and a heart guarded by faith. If this story touched something deep within you, share your thoughts below. Because even in the coldest rain, second chances can still begin.